Risa says, so do you also send press releases to your Web 2.0s? You can. What I recommend is, like, again, I don't like to use press releases direct to my money site anymore, other than if it's a new project, whether it's a new location that was just set up, or if it was for, like, an existing, like, a company that a new client, for example, that has had an existing website. What I like to do with press releases initially is just do one press release with a link to, the website for the project with branded anchor or a naked URL, right? So a URL anchor. That's it. One or the other, or both, which builds up, like, because you're going to get a bunch of links from press release distribution pointed back to whatever your target URL is. So I like to do that to the homepage or the location landing page for the GMB, whatever the self-hosted site is for that project. I like to do one press release that has either a naked URL or a brand anchor. Sometimes I will do two press releases, one that does naked URL and one with a brand anchor. And that's just to build up, like, to seed the site with brand/URL anchors, which the way that I categorize anchor text is to one of 5 categories. The first one being brand/URL anchors. I consider those one and the same. The next one would be topic anchors. So that would be a keyword anchor only. A target anchor is a keyword plus, or it's like a topic plus a location modifier, right? So I have brand/URL, category 1. Topic anchors, which are keywords only. Target is category number 2. Target anchors are keyword plus location modifier. So that's category number 3. Category number 4 is miscellaneous anchors, which are also generics, right? That's another term for it. And then category number 5 is a frame anchor or an empty anchor, which would be like an iframe, a redirect URL, or an empty a image link. So like a link from an image, but without alt text. Because if you have alt text, the alt text becomes the anchor text, if that makes sense. So when I do a press release to a money site, I only like to do a brand/URL anchor, right? And that's it. And that's just to get the anchor text ratios real high in that category. And then from there, it's typically, iframe anchors or frame anchors, empty anchors. They're going to be built through the structures that we build anyways, which would be like the G site, the ID page, press advantage organization page. Those all produce iframes. So those became frame anchors. That's going to naturally occur through the structures that we build. Right. And then miscellaneous anchors, you're going to pick those up naturally. Web 2.0 links, citations, things like that. Typically, or you're going to have a lot of click here, website, GMB posts, the learn more button, or the CTA button, which typically you're going to, when you're building links with GMB posts, you're going to be linking back to your site with either the learn more or the book button. Right. So those are, again, miscellaneous or generic anchor texts. So, that's what I'm trying to get at, guys, is like what I like to do with money sites is build up brand and URL anchors initially with press releases. Like I said, it usually only takes 1, maybe 2 at most. And then the frame anchors, miscellaneous anchors, they're going to just occur naturally as we're building the rest of the structures, the rest of the tier 1 entity assets. So then what that leaves me with is topic and target anchors that I have to go out and, intentionally build. And what I try to do is build my target anchors through the tier 1 entity assets. And remember, target anchors are topic, keyword plus location modifier. So like on the ID page, the RYS G sheets, right? The Web 2.0 properties from the syndication network, all of those different types of properties that we're going to build, tier 1 entity assets, we have the opportunity to go in and build links with target anchors back to the money site. So we can get our anchor text ratios similar to whatever the top ranked competitors are for that same search query that we're optimizing for. And then topic anchors, what I found, at least in the industry that I'm in, which is tree service industry, I found that topic anchors are very few. Like you don't see those very often. If you analyze the backlink profile of the top ranked competitors, comparing apples to apples, and what I mean by that is if you're comparing local business websites to that's what you're analyzing, backlink profile of local business websites. Don't look at backlink profile of directory sites. First of all, they have very few backlinks usually because they rank on pure internal links, right? The authority of the domain plus internal linking. But second of all, it's a different structure, different type of, when you compare a local business backlink profile to website backlink profile, to a directory backlink profile, it's apples and oranges. So it's not the same. It's not the same, right? So I only compare the backlink analysis or analyze the backlinks of local business websites, because that's what I'm competing with, if that makes sense. And so what I found is, in the industry that I work in, and I've looked across dozens and dozens of locations, dozens and dozens of keywords, and every time I analyze those sites, I find that the topic anchors are very few and far between. So again, that would be like tree service, tree removal, tree trimming service, things like that, just without location modifiers. Very rarely see those, occasionally, but very rarely. Most of the time you see a high percentage of brand/URL and miscellaneous anchors. And then you'll see some frame anchors, which again are empty iframes, empty, image links with no alt text and also redirects. And then you'll see target anchors and very few, if any, topic anchors. So now that I know that, and I've been able to prove over months of just research and analyzing projects, competitors and everything else, that's pretty much what I normally see. I usually see between 60 to 80% brand/URL top anchors. And then I usually see about 10 to 15% miscellaneous anchors, a very small amount of frame or empty anchors, and then just a very small amount of target anchors, and very few, if any, topic anchors. So the reason I bring all that up is because I think press releases are great to link directly to the money site, to just to boost your brand/URL anchors, to get your ratio higher for that, right? From that anchor text category. Then once you get to that point, which only takes one, maybe two press releases to really increase that brand/URL anchor text category, right? So, but then from there, I like to use press releases to link build to either the GMB website, GMB posts, or now I should say GBP, right? Google, or GB posts, right? Google Business Posts, since they just changed the name of Google My Business to Google Business Profile. So again, the Google Business website, Google Business Posts, or the G site. Those are my three preferred targets for press releases. After the initial one or two that I use to increase anchor text ratios for brand/URL anchor category for the money site. Does that make sense? So Web 2s, yeah, you can build links. The only thing I don't like to do is I don't like to build from press releases to all the different tier 1 entity assets. I like to pick one and then just keep hitting that one over and over again. So like I said, the Google Business website or the G site. Those are two of my favorite targets for press releases now. So hopefully that makes sense. But you can do that. I don't, unless you know what you're doing, I try not to build a lot of press releases directly to the money site anymore. I did for a long time, but I don't do that so much anymore. I just use it, like I said, to power up some of my other tier 1 entity assets. For me, primarily the Google Business website or Google Business Posts in the G site. Okay.